Hello and welcome to the YOUmedia Miami Podcast. I'm your host, Montgomery, the librarian here down in the South Dade Regional Library. For today's topic, we're going to be talking about 3D printed firearms and the controversy behind that. But before we get started on that topic, we're going to do a quick introduction. So to my left, we have
Nathan.
It's your boy SQP Pop Up, aka Lil Red. What it do with the B?
My name is Chris Miller.
My name is Elijah.
Tyree, a.k.a. Lil Sasuke.
Man, Giovanni, aka J. Eskerman.
Jonathan.
All right. So before we get started on the 3D printed firearm situation, we are going to talk about a couple of things, mainly about censorship, meaning that information that we can get from the internet can be used for anything. Back in the day when I was a bookseller, there was a book called The Anarchist Cookbook, that's a book in which it tells you how to make bombs out of everyday kitchen items that you can buy. You had to be over 18 to order it. You couldn't just simply look at it and just copy down whatever. So back in the day, that's information that was dangerous. Now that we have a 3D printer in YOUmedia, and we print up stuff that's helpful to us, but now we're at a point in which this is going to be a thing, in which we can easily print a 3D gun just as easily as we print any of those objects there. So the question to you, is this a good idea about having that information available to everyone?
I have a question. If you print out a gun, can you use it?
Yes.
So I say no because if anybody's available to it, like anybody can use it for like bad things, like they could like end up like killing somebody or something.
How many people have a 3D printer though? Like, can you just go anywhere and get one?
Think of it as a file of information. You can just simply download it, upload it to the 3D printer. That's it. And it will print the schematics easily for you. So it's not as if this is a new thing that's been out there, but back in 2012, the group that started this, is the Defense Distributed, had this information and want this to be available to everyone. Not to do anything of harm, but like anyone else, if I design something, I upload it for everyone to use, there's no harm. But again, it's whatever we use with it is the harm.
Yeah.
But is a 3D gun something we need?
No,
No, I don't think so.
I disagree.
So who's going to censor that? You want the government to censor your access to guns? Even though in your Second Amendment you have the right to bear arms?
No, I do agree with the Second Amendment, but what's the point of having a 3D printed weapon? It's not going to be as accurate as a real weapon. You might as well just get one if you can't afford it. Then don't have a weapon.
Right. That could be one possibility. What if, for the exact same reason, let's say guns are outlawed, and the only way you can get one is by making one yourself? Would you want to have access to that simple information?
You would, but if guns are outlawed, technically nobody's going to be able to reach them.
Okay. I would say, to answer your other question, how many people have 3D printers? 3D printers are available to everyone. And you could buy one. They're kind of expensive. So do a lot of people have them? I don't think so. But with people that do have them, is it wrong for them to create whatever they like?
No, you have the right to create everything you like. No, I'm saying, as far as 3D weapons, like, why do you need to print a weapon for?
What do you guys think?
I agree with him.
Agree with what?
What he said. What's the point of creating a 3D weapon? We can just go buy one yourself from a store or anything.
Okay. So you don't think there's no reason to create 3D guns?
No, there is no reason at all to create weapons, or especially a 3D gun.
What about you, Otis? What you think?
To be honest, guns are supposed to be for, like, you feel me, protection. So if it's only for protectional uses, shouldn't you just be able to make it in your own comfort of your house?
Good point.
I feel like that guns, like, it should be available to people that can't protect themselves, like for like elderlies or like people like as brittle. So it should be like outlawed to people that's like probably like from the age from like 18 to like 30 or 40 something.
Okay.
One more. Are they making like ARs or just
They
handguns?
can make AR-15s.
Then no.
Are these guns accurate enough to actually create any harm?
The rifle can last up to 650 rounds.
Wow.
So even if it's not like an automatic or semi-automatic, but it can still fire, 650 rounds is a lot to go through. Considering what, with the mass shootings that we've been having, that's going to be easily... I don't want to deter anyone from having access to a 3D printer. That's what the library's for. But the problem lies is that anyone will do anything to cause harm regardless. You can just do that Batman figure, right? With the pointed ears. It has sharp ends because of his collar, his ears. So you can use that as a knife and poke someone, in the face. So anything can be used as any kind of thing to harm someone else. But are we going to stop you from printing something that on the onset doesn't look like it's going to harm anyone?
Yeah, why would we prevent guns if... so 3D guns, are they that much different from actual guns? Like, what do you guys think?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, a plastic gun is not going to be as accurate as a metal gun. I just don't think that a 3D weapon would be as accurate and wouldn't be able to create as much damage as a real gun because it doesn't have the power, the strength to withstand the explosion. That's what I think.
So you don't think a 3D gun will work at all?
No, I mean, it's proven that they can work, but their reliability, I don't think they're going to be reliable enough to actually use multiple times.
So why do you think there's such a big problem against 3D guns then? If
I have something to say on that. I feel like that they're going to be hazardous towards like the person that's actually using the gun, because they're probably like the plastic might melt or something like that, or like it might like blast wrong or something and just hitting yourself. So
The weapons, like the metal guns and all those, have been around for centuries. These 3D printed guns have, I don't know, maybe been around for 5-10 years. They have to be researched way more, better materials to be used to actually create any damage. Now, like back to the topic, why would we have one? I don't think anybody should really need. Why have a 3D printed weapon when you can just get a real one?
So Giovanni brought up a point about protection, or was it Otis? And Giovanni adding on to that, like for people who can't necessarily protect themselves. So
Or buying a gun. The actual cost of buying a legitimate gun may be out of people's hands. So you can come to the library, free of charge, print one up, and you have a gun at home. There's no... I know we're not going to do that here or advocate for that, but on the offset, you technically can do that. So will then the gun lobbyists be against the sale or the printing of this because it's done for free and not a manufacturing process in which you have to pay for this?
I feel like a store, like they should have the right to outlaw like making guns or making 3D guns. And then, like, if like they should have a choice whether they can make them or outlaw them in their store.
wait, you think the stores should have the choice?
Yeah, to like have the choice to have people come in and actually make them.
So it's up to the stores. The stores would have 3D printers that people could come in and make stuff, and it'd be the store's choice whether or not they allow guns to be printed and stuff.
Like what? Like with a background check?
Yes.
Like they do for regular guns?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you guys think 3D guns should have like the same policies as like a regular gun store?
Why would you have to go through all those measures of extent to have... Like my point, yeah, maybe real guns do cost a little more, but, why waste all that time to get a 3D gun? Nowadays, background checks for guns, and I don't know if it's for ammo or not, take like 3 days before you can actually buy the weapon. why waste? Just get a real weapon that's you're gonna know it's gonna be reliable. You can have ammo, buy it, whatever. The 3D printed gun, yeah, the gun. How about the ammo? You're gonna have to print the ammo too. That's gonna have a lot more time wasted, than just buying a real gun, and having the ammo at.
That's your point. I don't know, Elijah. You tell me. Would it, like, let's say, especially for ladies, women who want to feel more protected walking out and in the middle of an area that they don't trust, would it be more beneficial for them when someone trying to attack them, they see that they have a 3D printed gun versus...
I wouldn't be scared of a gun at all. A 3D printed gun, a plastic gun. I think it's a child's gun. Now, if she pulls out a real gun, I'm gonna back off.
Okay.
A smart criminal will. A dumb one would just, get shot.
And another thing that you won't be able to tell if it's a real gun if it's made of plastic too. So if it's like, they have water guns and stuff. You won't be able to tell if it's actually a real gun, like a real 3D gun or not.
So, do you think that's a problem, or is that
yeah, I think that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
To come to think about it, what if they created 3D printed guns for not only to kill people, but like for example, okay, as we know in America, we know guns are dangerous and they kill people. But what if they made a new weapon that they can use to not only kill people but just to protect them, basically?
I mean, well, weapons, though the same weapons that are used to kill people are used to protect people as well.
Yeah, but I mean, like, a real gun will actually, like, once you shoot someone, they can be injured or could get killed. But what if a 3D printed gun, you can, like, shoot someone, but they don't die. They just, like, be hurt or injured.
Yeah. Like rubber bullets.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like this. So why not have a 3D printed gun look exactly like, a metal one, right? But it doesn't shoot. It's just used to, like, scare off people, because there's a majority of people that'll see a gun and they'll just fall back. They'll, be like, all right, chill. So why not have it used to just show off and protect you, like, just by the look of it, instead of actually having it being triggered?
That the look, some criminals are just crazed, they're high or whatever. You pull out a fake or a real gun, and sometimes they will still go at you. Yeah. So what if they're still coming at you and that's a fake gun? What are you going to do now?
Pistol whoop them? But no, for real though, if it comes to that, I mean, you should always have a backup weapon, like, for example, mace, or,
Pocket knife.
Mace.
3D pocket knife.
I mean, a pocket knife, but just make sure you stab them in the right place.
It's a good scenario. I mean, definitely you want to be protected, but I think Giovanni brings up a good point on how 3D printed guns will look. Like, they could easily be confused for, like, a water gun or a toy gun, which brings up
people will get shot sometimes.
Safety issues, like places that don't allow guns that you shouldn't be walking into with a gun. Like, how easily do you guys think it would be if 3D printed guns is allowed for, like, terrorist attacks to happen? Like,
right, and it's not as if they have to come to the library to do this. They can just order a 3D printer to their house and start doing this willy-nilly. So they don't have to do anything of a background check.
Exactly, it'll be mass-produced. So why print them at your house? Why why print a 3D weapon? It's going to be way more off the radar than a regular weapon. It'll be black marketed.
Well, that's the idea. That's one application, to play the devil's advocate here. The idea is that, again, going back to what you do with the information, we talked about how you use that gun for protection in some cases, or in the other case, making mass amount of weapons to sell for people who don't have access to that. So, I mean, I don't think in our lifetime we're going to get a clear answer as to what's good or bad about a 3D printed gun, because we allow guns the way they are going right now, and people has background checks, and sometimes they slip through the cracks, and they still get firearms. We don't hold the people who make the guns accountable, as well as the people who are, unfortunately, if they're killed, then they're not killed, then held accountable as well. So whose fault is it? The person who taught them how to shoot a gun in the first place, who sold them the gun in the first place, the ammunition, or the hotel stay for not knowing that he's planning to shoot someone. We can get into the minutia about who to blame in all this, because the guns are going to be around forever.
You blame the person that commits the act. There's nothing. Criminals will do whatever they want and get whatever they want, some way, somehow. So, if you outlaw guns for protection, for everything, criminals are still going to get their hands on it somehow. So now you're defenseless. Like, what are you going to do? You have to blame the person for their own action. It's not this guy's fault, Yeah, somebody could have maybe paid attention a little closer and watched out. Oh, this person, he has a weapon, he's been talking about stuff lately. But overall, it's going to be the person that does it. It's totally his fault. Can't be anybody else's fault, because there's really no sense in that.
And yeah, I agree with him, because it's really the criminal's fault for actually ordering the guns and stuff, like ordering the printed gun. So
to that, the guy that did the mass shooting in Las Vegas, he had something called a bump stock, which made his weapon automatic from semi-automatic, which means you could shoot a lot more rounds. They wanted to ban that piece of technology. And guess what? They didn't.
I think they should do that, because say if you have a pistol or something, and then somebody's like you just order a printed gun, then you make a bump stock on the printed gun, and then you just start killing people. That's not right. So
I feel like overall, metal bullets should be banned. We should use rubber bullets. I feel like that would make a big difference, and it will stop most people dying from guns. That's what I feel.
But how would that stop criminals from getting metal bullets? Like, you can make your own bullets, and back in a couple centuries ago, they made their own bullets, melting lead and different types of things. They're still going to get bullets. Like, there's no way to stop a criminal from doing what he wants. There's no way, unless you lock him up and can't get out. Criminals are criminals. They don't obey no laws. They don't care about people. What's going to stop them?
With all the mass shootings, we've always come back to there has to be action. And nothing has been done. And now we're at this point in which now it's even easier for everyone to get guns. So if we can't even take care of the regular guns, and now this new technology making it available to everyone, it's going to be just like nuts out there, because people will have even more firearm out there. So if we can't control the stuff now, we've already lost this battle. So this is going to have to happen. And unfortunately, the first time someone's going to be killed by a 3D printed gun, that's going to be the end of that argument of all guns, because they can't even control regular guns.
I have a question. You said the book that shared information how to make bombs with household
yeah, it's
items.
called the Anarchist Cookbook.
And how is that? So what happened with that book? They banned it?
No.
That's the whole available.
That's the whole thing with Banned Book Week. Every year we go through this process of books that people read that don't want other people to read, meaning kids, because of profanity, or they have adult themes or language, whatever that is. People will always find objections to ban something from someone else. But as we know, the library is open to everyone. There's never been, and as far as I know, in our library system, any book that has been banned because someone had a problem with whatever that subject matter is. But with information, if you're looking stuff online, that's on you. You look up information and you use that information, whether you use it to better yourself with education or you do it for other means.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that information or learning about something is bad, it's what you do with this. So, if that's the case, then let's not have 3D printing at our library if that's what's going to happen. Or have no libraries have computers so no one access the internet.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's referred to as like a slippery slope that you're going to go to the point where it's like you say this is what's going to happen, so let's just cut off everything else to have that from not happening.
Yeah.
And I don't want to infringe on everyone getting information about how to do things. So I
You
don't
don't
know.
prevent all crime by
Banning everything.
banning, everything. So, let me ask: would you guys, if you had the opportunity, would you guys 3D print a gun?
No.
Like if we allowed it, why not, Otis?
Nah. And them 3D guns, cause you still need a gun license. You just can't make your gun and think you're gonna get away with it. It's still gonna be like,
No, you don't.
backlash.
That's a good question. Do you need a license to print out
No.
those 3D guns and to use it?
You have a printer. You have the filament. You have the instructions. Send it to print.
Are you gonna have somebody standing over you? Oh, do you have a license for that? I mean,
No.
like,
If I buy one of those machines and take it at home, I don't have to ask permission.
Because you're bought it, you pay for
Right.
it.
it's my machine. You know, do whatever I want with it.
So there is no information about I need to get a license in order for me to print this. No. If I know how to print it, that's the only thing I need to know.
So would it be legal to use it outside of your home? Is there a law right now that says
They were
that?
trying. There is something about. There was something in here that I read. But it might have been from the UK. There's something called under the Undetectable Firearms Act. That's illegal to manufacture something to this effect, but this was done back in 2013. But the defense distributed. The guy who runs that came out in 2012. He wanted to release the plans to the public to make a gun in 3D. So, and of course, he's been blocked from doing so. So again, it goes back to the information about the Anarchist Cookbook. There's a guy who put out all this information. Yeah, this is how you make a bomb. Is he wrong for doing that because it's information?
So it's not illegal for you to 3D print a gun right now, but it's illegal for you to go somewhere with it, especially when they try to detect weapons.
I mean, that's another thing too. If it's made out of plastic, how are you supposed to detect it? The metal detectors are
Right.
obviously for metal,
Which
so
is referred to as a ghost gun. So you're never going to
you're
find
never
it.
gonna find it. I can have 3 of them in my pants, and you'll never know until I start shooting somebody.
So should we wait till we get the technology to detect weapons like this?
I think that would be
So-
smarter. That would be smarter.
Yeah.
But then by the time you get that technology advancement,
It's
3D
already-
printed guns,
People are already going to be using it
Yeah.
by now. So.
by that point,
But no matter what, we still need that technology.
no, of course
So-
but it's all about, basically your consciousness. Like, if you just want to mass murder, you'll find any way. Like he was saying, Batman, sharp, the sharp things. You can
Yeah.
poke somebody. You do anything you want, you
Yeah.
know. Or the Anarchist Cookbook, probably has, baking powder, this and that. Like, there's stuff that you can get every day. Like, it boils down to if you want to do it, you're going to do it, no matter if you have, metal detectors, plastic detectors, whatever means of security. You ban everything. People still have the knowledge in their mind. You can't ever erase that. So,
Yeah. I believe the crimes happen in their hearts before they ever even happened
That is true.
outside.
you have to want to do it. And if I want to do something, nobody can stop me. I stop myself, basically.
The question is though, do we stop the information from being released because there's people that wants to do crimes like that?
Or maybe not crimes. I just want to learn how to print 3D guns. That's all.
Yeah.
There's no, again, what we do with the information is what's the problem.
Yeah.
And we can't regulate information that's out there. So do we ban information like, I don't know how you would even do that. It's impossible to ban information. We'll never advance ourselves with technology if we don't have information.
So let's do a census real quick. Go around the room and see where you stand, yes or no, on whether 3D printing guns should be available to the public freely. So we'll start with Elijah.
Nope.
Tariq?
I mean, it's a tough decision, but I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to be hurt by it. If it does mass product, somebody's going to get hurt by it. So, I mean, what's the point? So, I don't know. I don't really have an answer.
No? Well, which one are you leaning on towards more? Yes or no?
I'll say no. Mostly no.
Gio?
No.
Oh. John?
It's a hard decision too, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, just if it's available freely, then you know, I guess no, because it'll injure people at any time.
No. Monty?
If the NRA says I have a right to have an arm and I can bear that with a plastic gun, then that's my right. And if there is a problem with that right, they can't have it both ways. Some guns are good and some guns are bad. No. If you're allowing me to have a gun, whether it's metal or it's plastic, it's all or nothing. So for right now, everyone has a right to have guns. So everyone will get to have plastic guns. So we're upping the ante. And we'll see how far that goes.
So your answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. Otis?
No.
But it's not focusing this.
My answer is going to have to be yes.
But why?
Yes.
Why?
Because, honestly, kind of like what Monty is saying, it's... Why would you stop 3D printing guns from that information from happening if, first of all, it is not that reliable yet, but I think you're just stopping from something that could happen in the future that could actually be useful. I personally don't see the problem with 3D printing guns. I would attack more of what you could do with it. So make some rules, just like with everything else. Be like, hey, only certain 3D guns could be printed.
But who's gonna obey those rules? Criminals, they'll do whatever they want.
But just because people are gonna break them doesn't mean you shouldn't make them. You should still implement, those.
No,
rules.
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't have no guns. Actually, in the contrary, I support the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
But my point is, what's the need of a 3D printed weapon?
It's still, it would treat it like a gun.
So then if it's a gun, then why not get a regular one? I mean,
Well, I understand your point, but it goes to the exact same point with the whole cost issue, that if I can't afford a gun, but I can print it for free, I have a gun. And it's my right to have a gun. I don't think in the Constitution it specifies that I have to get a background check or to go through regulations in order to get a gun, other than I, as an American, have the right to get a gun. And that's it. So whether it's metal or plastic or whatever that polymer is in the future, I should have access to that.
All right. So thank you guys for joining the podcast.
No problem.
We out.